Good evening. Hello and welcome to the League of Women Voters of Dearborn Heights Candidate Forum for the August 8th primary election. This is the forum for those running to fill 4 seats on the Dearborn Heights City Council. My name is Mary Jo Durvaj, the League's president. This program is presented and produced as a public service by the League of Women Voters in cooperation with the City of Dearborn Heights. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan national organization which encourages the informed and active participation of citizens in government. The League never supports or opposes candidates or political parties. Membership is open to men and women age 18 or 16 or older. There are 2 important races on our ballot, for mayor and for 4 seats on the City Council. For written information about the candidates, go to the League's online voter guide at vote411.org or pick up a paper copy of the League's voter guide at the library or City Hall. The League of Women Voters would like to thank the City of Dearborn Heights for making this important public service event possible. Tonight's forums will be airing on YouTube on June 28th. They will appear on the city's cable system for 1 week only, beginning July 4th. The League of Women Voters wants everyone to vote, to inform themselves, and to vote on August 8th. Contact the city clerk's office if you know you're not going to be in town and need an absentee ballot. And if you don't know whether you're registered or not, you can also contact the city clerk or go to the Michigan Secretary of State's website. Now I am delighted to introduce the moderator of tonight's forum, Paula Bowman, a member of the Northwest Wayne County League of Women Voters.
Hello, everyone. Today is Thursday, June 22nd, and we're taping this forum in the council chambers of the Dearborn Heights City Hall. As always, the League of Women Voters is not responsible for the views expressed by the candidates. Members of the audience, we request that you please turn off or mute your cell phones and that no recording devices be used without League authorization. We also request that you maintain silence, so therefore no clapping, please, until the very end, so that we can maintain an oasis of neutrality. The candidates have agreed to the following plans. The order in which the candidates speak has been determined by drawing lots, and just by pure coincidence, the first one is alphabetically the first 2, Mr. Almuna. Each candidate will have 1 minute to make an opening statement, 1 minute to answer each question, and then the order will be rotated as we proceed with the questions. We will end with each candidate having 2 minutes to make a final statement. The timekeeper is a League member and will raise a card to notify the candidate as their time expires. Questions are a mixture of those developed by the League and those from tonight's audience. Questions are screened to prevent duplication, personal attacks, and to ensure that questions can be asked of all the candidates. Time does not allow for all the questions to be asked. We just know we won't make it through them all. So we encourage the audience or the viewing public to contact the candidates directly if your question was not asked. Contact information is included online at vote411.org and in the paper copies of the voter guides. 11 candidates will be running for the City Council race in the primary. There are 4 positions. Voters in the primary will be asked to vote for 4, and then the 8 top vote getters will advance to the general election. In alphabetical order, their names are Ali Almuna, Ned Apigian, Mo Beydoun, Bill Bazzi, Thomas Berry, Bob Constant, Jeff Mallard, Denise Malinowski Maxwell, Larry Mitchell, Lisa Oshansky, and Tom Wenzel. I should mention that Mr. Mitchell was very sorry, but he could not attend. Also, Mr. Thomas Berry, though his name is still on the ballot, he has withdrawn from the race. So he's not here tonight, not actively campaigning, but you will still see his name on the ballot. If we're ready to go, let's start with our 1 minute opening statements with Mr. Almuna.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say
Let's pull the mics close to you when you speak, please.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would love to say thank you for the League of Women for this lovely opportunity to be here, to represent myself, and in the near future to represent the city of Dearborn Heights, the people of Dearborn Heights, and the community. And I would love to see you on election date. And then I need your help to vote for me. And thank you for your participations. Thank you all.
Thank you. Mr. Apigian.
Yes, thank you. I am a former council person in the city.
Could you speak into the mic, please?
Excuse me?
Speak into the mic so people can hear you.
I'm sorry. I am a former Dearborn Heights City Council person.
We can't hear you.
I was maybe it's not on. I don't know. We don't want to repeat that.
Go ahead and start over if you could.
I am a former city council person in the city of Dearborn Heights. I have won a special election and for a non-full term and one full term. I am a degreed and state licensed design and physical planning professional. I bring vast experience in designing several Michigan and international urban spaces as a resource to the city of Dearborn Heights. I am a former United States Marine, a 46-year resident of the city and homeowner, married 53 years to the same woman. I have one daughter, 52 years old, and we're blessed with 4 grandchildren. Unfortunately, they're all in Boston.
Thank you. Mr. Beydoun.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Can everybody hear me good? Awesome. I want to begin by thanking the League of Women Voters for giving us this opportunity for being here today and for organizing this event. My name is Mo Beydoun. I'm a candidate for Dearborn Heights City Council. I am a small business owner in this city. I also recently graduated with my master's in public administration, and I want to use my experiences to help serve the community of Dearborn Heights. I want to be very bold. I want to bring bold ideas, and I want to bring change to the city of Dearborn Heights, and I think that's very important. I'm running for many reasons. I think it's very important that we strengthen our city services and strengthen our public safety. We need to bring more economical development. I know we've heard this from many candidates and our elected officials from the administrative as well. I think that's also very, very important. And I'm running to help serve the city of Dearborn Heights for a better quality of life for my family and yours.
Thank you. Mr. Bazzi.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting this thing on, and also the residents of Dearborn Heights for being here. I really appreciate it. My name is Bill Bazzi. I'm not a politician. I'm not looking for another career. I'm just here. I want to serve the residents of Dearborn Heights. I'm going to go a little bit about my background first. I retired from the United States Marine Corps after 21 years of service. I began my career in the Marines as a military police officer. Then later on, I became the intelligence chief and other stuff.
Can't say anything.
Can't say. I began my civilian career with the Boeing Company. I was a quality manager and lead auditor. And I'm currently working at Ford Motor Company as a design engineer. And I just want to be clear. I don't want receipt.
Thank you very much. You'll have plenty of time to say what else you can do. Mr. Constant.
Paula, thank you. I'd like to also thank the League of Women Voters for scheduling this candidate forum and for all the work the League does. My name is Bob Constant, and I'm running for re-election to the Dearborn Heights City Council. I have over 12 years' experience enacting balanced budgets, both as a city councilman and as a state representative. I earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan and a Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Detroit Mercy School of Law. I've been licensed to practice law in Michigan and in Ohio for the last 30 years. I also own and operate a business in Dearborn Heights. I'm running for re-election to continue to serve the residents of Dearborn Heights, to police the budget, and to help enact reforms that are needed to help our city budget be lean and run efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mallard?
Good evening. My name is Jeff Mallard, and I'm a candidate for Dearborn Heights City Council. I'm a longtime resident of Dearborn Heights. I own a home here. My children go to school here, and I pay taxes in the city. And like all residents, I think we have a vested interest in ensuring that our neighborhoods remain clean and safe, our home values stay strong, and the services that the city provide meet the needs of our community. I care deeply about the city that I call home, and so I'm running for council for a few reasons. First, I hope to bring a great deal of experience to the council. I have over 20 years leadership experience. I've been a small business owner, and I have an MBA from the University of Detroit Mercy. Second, I want to help lead the change to improve upon the things that will make our city a great place to live, raise a family, or own a business. And then finally, I think I can make a difference by offering new ideas and perspectives to challenge us to think differently on how we will lead our city towards future growth and prosperity. Right on.
Thank you. Ms. Maxwell?
Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. My name is Denise Melanowski Maxwell. I'm a longtime resident of Dearborn Heights. I graduated from Madonna University, majoring in business management. I am alumni of Henry Ford Community College, and I also graduated from Crestwood High School in 1978. And I even went to the old Brainerd Elementary School, which is a bank now. I retired from AT&T. During that time, I was a team leader, also a union steward, and a chief union steward with CWA. I was a licensed real estate agent for 19 years and a general contractor in the building of my personal homes. I am one of the founders of Crestwood Stock, which is a multi-year class reunion. I am a charter member of the Crestwood Alumni Board. I also volunteered as a float judge for many years. I'm a longtime member of St. Linus Church. I volunteer on a regular basis at St. Francis DSCC Church in Detroit, and I belong to the PLAV Post number 16, and I also am a homeowner in the city of Dearborn Heights.
Thank you. Ms. Oshansky?
Well timed. Hello. Thank you for coming out this evening to the League of Women Voters, and I'd like to thank them for putting on this forum and allowing you to get to know us better. My name is Lisa Behrens Oshansky. It will appear on the ballot as Lisa F. Oshansky. It's a easy name to remember. I like to tell people we sound like the Polish leprechauns. I have lived in Dearborn Heights for approximately 20 years. During that time, always in Gulfview Manor, and I have been an active member of the Gulfview Manor Civic Association for the past 7 years, serving as either secretary or vice president. I believe this job and what I bring to it is a nonpartisan viewpoint. It is the responsibility of the council to run the business of the city, and along those lines, I do have 20 years of management experience, including a bachelor's in business and a master's in labor relations. My platform is financial accountability, transparency in government, professional and civility brought back to the council table. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wenzel?
Hi, I was brought up.
Could I ask that you be seated, please? Could you be seated, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I was brought up to stand up when you speak in front of an audience, so I guess I'll not be able to. I don't know if this thing works or not, so I won't even use it because everyone else isn't working. My name is Tom Wenzel. I'm a lifelong resident of Dearborn Heights. All 3 of my children, all 12 of my grandchildren live in Dearborn Heights. My mother lives in Dearborn Heights. She's 90 years old. And my brother lives in Dearborn Heights. Practically my whole family lives in Dearborn Heights, all lifelong residents, except for my mom. She was born in Poland. I believe that Dearborn Heights is a city with a future, but it's my past that makes me different than any other candidate. I don't have a degree in business or finance, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm an idea guy and I'm a very fast learner. I have firsthand experience, lifelong experience living in Dearborn Heights. I'm not asking you to give me the chance to serve our community. As you can see in my brochure, I hope everyone's got it, that I've been serving my community my whole life.
Thank you very much. Mr. Almuna, we'll start our first question with you. Name 1 or 2 issues that especially motivate you to run for City Council and explain why these issues are important to you.
As a real estate in the state of Michigan and professional, dealing with the public, selling homes and buying homes and putting on the market commercial residential properties. I have seen a lot around the city of Dearborn Heights. Maybe when I talk to the people here and there, they were complaining about taxes and water bills and city ordinance. Maybe those are three major issues and challenges we face in today. According to the city, the people of Dearborn Heights, people ask me why is this the taxes it's going up year after year after year, and the water bill is going up too constantly. I think that's the most important points people brought up.
Thank you, Mr. Apigian.
Yeah, I think one of the most important issues for the city is our ordinance department, and in order to save time, I'm going to read what I've written here. It is next to impossible to maintain the control of our first-class community with 4 full-time and 2 part-time officers most of the time, slightly more in the summer when you have 3 and students. We are a city of 24,000 households with a population of 57 to 58,000 people, 57,800. We are a city half the size of Dearborn, and they employ 3 times as many ordinance officers. We cannot control the city of Dearborn Heights with the kind of system we have. I have ideas how we can improve that and not cost us a lot more money.
Thank you, Mr. Apigian. Mr. Beydoun.
Thank you so much. If you don't mind just repeating the question one
Sure.
more time for me.
Name 1 or 2 issues that especially motivate you to run for city council, and explain why these issues are important to you.
Well, I'm actually, my campaign is running on 6 different tenets. I believe in maintaining a fiscal responsibility and a balanced budget, improve city services for public safety for all residents, rejuvenating our programs and services for our seniors, cutting red tapes to make it accessible and easier for business owners to open up, and working with local and state officials to help with the problems and the issues that's happening within the city. So I have more than just 1 or 2 issues. I believe that there are several issues, and I'm there to work to serve the people of Dearborn Heights.
Thank you, Mr. Bazzi.
Well, to me, every issue that is going on right now is an important issue, but the 2 most important issues, the first one is the city disconnecting from the residents, and also our engagement with our youth. Our city has not engaged our residents in many years. Been hearing a lot of complaints from residents as I talk to hundreds of them in the last couple of weeks, and they all have the same thing: is nobody's listening to us from the city. And my idea is to engage the residents, to talk to as much as anybody is willing to come and talk to me. Even right now, I'm not elected. I'm willing to listen to issues, and I have a lot of experience, with different government agencies, and I do want to engage our youth as well. That I think that's another issue that nobody's done so far, and partner with local organizations too.
Thank you, Mr. Constant.
Paula, thank you. I think I agree with Mr. Bazzi. There are a lot of important issues, but one important issue is for the city to continue to be able to deliver city services as cheaply and as economically as possible. To partner with other cities when possible, to deliver services like police and fire protection more efficiently. We're a bedroom community. Everyone looks for lower tax rates, a low water bill. We're an older suburb, so I think that's our biggest challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mallard, we're going to start a new question with you. What are your budget priorities regarding the allocation of limited city revenues?
Right. I think, when you take a look at the budget, the city runs on about $44 million budget. And I think the way we allocate the money is important. About 76% of our budget is spent on fire, police, and then general government. So, when you're spending that type of money, and a large portion towards those categories, we need to make sure that we're doing it effectively and efficiently. So when you look at the different programs and how the money is being spent, I would say that, it's important to vet out the different expenditures that we're making, because I think we have a very important duty as council members to ensure that, we protect the taxpayers' dollars in the best way possible. So we're working hard to ensure that every expenditure made is made in the best interest of the residents and the city. So, I think I've done a lot of this in the past, and I've got great experience looking at budgets, balancing budgets, and I hope to get a chance to do it for Dearborn Heights.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell.
Could you repeat the question
Sure.
again?
What are your budget priorities regarding the allocation of limited city revenues?
Well, one of my platforms is to improve our roads by utilizing the limited funds more efficiently, and also to check for grants that might help us. A lot of our roads do need repair or replacement. They're not in good shape, and anybody who goes around the city can see that. A lot of them have cold patches everywhere, and those aren't even working anymore. So my main concern at this point would be to make sure our roads are repaired so we can safely drive on them.
Thank you. Ms. Oshansky?
Yes, hello. Yes, I would say that the number one issue for me that prompted me to become involved and to decide to run this year was the outsourcing of the 911. We do have limited available funds. I do believe that when it's necessary and possible in shared services, however, you have to choose those services wisely. And I do not believe in outsourcing fire, police, EMTs, or first responders in 911. At the current state, we have multiple vacancies that have not been posted or filled for the past year. We have many people who have left the city's employment because they believe that they will not have jobs next year, as 911 was slated to be joined with Dearborn. And as a result, we're taking police officers and paying them overtime at many times the cost of a 911 operator to work those jobs.
Thank you. Mr. Wenzel?
Yes, my priorities would go as follows. Police, fire, DPW, followed closely by senior citizens and children. My white mother being a senior citizen, I'm aware of all of the trials and tribulations that they're faced, the senior centers, the condition of the senior centers. And being involved with children's sports for the last 40 years, I've seen enrollment of sports from the kids go from, in Dearborn Heights Dad's Club, from about 1,800 down to about 500 now. And that's an exaggerated thing. It's 500, it might even be 300. And what the people are looking for nowadays is a safe community where they can raise their kids and have sports programs for them, and a place for the seniors to have activities and a safe environment for everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Apigian, we'll start this next question with you. What is your position on the sale of the Warren Valley Golf Course?
Well, not being on the council, I understand they know some things that the general public doesn't. But to me, it makes absolute sense to buy 255 acres for $1.8 million. I know what I would think about how I would do it, but I'm absolutely positive about that. I think it makes sense. It gives the city a place to have a future municipal center instead of tic-tac little buildings all over the place. And so I can't be any more positive about it. I'm sure there's details about it that I'm not aware of based on what I've heard. But if you took 8 houses in my neighborhood, you'd come up with $1.8 million, and that's dirt cheap, and you got to be crazy not to buy it.
Thank you. Mr. Baidoon?
Thank you for the question. I know it's a very heated topic at the moment. I think it's first very important to understand and realize that we need to keep it a golf course. I think that's the most important thing. But we also need to look at it, and we have to understand that I know there's been a lot of closed sessions in regards to what's happening with the golf course, and I think the residents should always have a say in this. So I think they should know what's going on, and we should hear what the residents' concerns are. And from what I'm hearing is that a lot of residents are really upset because, they want to sell it to a private, investor or whatever it may be. But I think it's very important that it stays a golf course, and that if we are going to purchase it, we need to understand that there's a proper plan behind it, and we know what the plan is behind it. Investing, a taxpayer's money with, with such a large amount, we need to know where we stand and what the city actually owns, and will the city benefit from it or not. But I think regardless of what happens, it needs to stay a golf course.
Thank you. Mr. Bazzi?
Also, I did talk to a lot of residents, and that's one of the biggest hot topics for them as well. And my opinion also for the city to control the golf course and to actually purchase it, because we don't know who else is going to purchase the property and what their intentions to do with the course. And also, one of the things is we should hire somebody. I've been involved with hundreds of golf outings. I've done a lot of probably almost 200 charity golf outings, and I've seen a lot of good running golf courses. And I've golfed over here, and it's poorly maintained, poorly managed. I even tried to do an event over there. It took them 2 weeks to get with me. So obviously it's poor management. So I think we should control it and hire a company, a contractor, to come in and run it efficiently. And right now it's not efficient.
Thank you. Mr. Constant?
Well, thank you. To answer the question directly, I'm against Wayne County selling the golf course. I would hope that Wayne County would continue to operate it as a public golf course and operate it efficiently and take care of it. But it appears that's not an option, and though Wayne County is going to continue to own other public golf courses, they want to sell the golf course. So the city of Dearborn Heights is faced with two alternatives: either for the city to buy it and maybe sell or lease out parts of it to businesses, and also to maintain the green space and hopefully maintain the golf course. As other candidates have mentioned, I think the price is very reasonable. I think the golf course is built on a floodplain, so as far as selling it to a developer and building houses, that would not work. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mallett, same question about the golf course?
Yeah, I think, we've already made a decision as a council and as a city to, move forward with this project. So I think there's a couple things. First, we need to have a really good plan on what we're going to do with this thing. And I think that it was brought out that, the plan is to keep it as a golf course. So if we're going to do that, it's important to, make sure we got a budget in place for it, how we're going to manage the dollars that are going to be spent on it, and then ensure that, there's some good due diligence done to protect, again, the taxpayer dollars, not to overspend money where unnecessarily needed. And then, just to ensure that, if we're going to go out and outsource, bring somebody in to manage it, that we got the, a good plan in place to bring the right people in to manage the course. But in the end, the city's decided to do this to, protect our interest, protect our residents' interest, and we need to listen to the residents and have a good plan in place to ensure that that golf course remains a nice piece of property within the city of Dearborn Heights.
Thank you. A new question for you, Ms. Maxwell.
Okay.
How would you enforce or change rental ordinances to ensure proper upkeep and accurate registration?
Well, I think we need to address that because it seems to become a major problem in our city with the increased amount of rentals we have. I think we need more people to police that, hire extra people for the rentals alone, because it seems to be a big backup when the owner requests an occupancy and they have to wait, and sometimes they don't want to make the tenant wait for the inspection. Therefore, the person moves in before it's inspected properly, and that causes a whole nother problem. Also, too, we should ask the owner to put some kind of bond up that if their property has to be maintained by the city for whatever reason, let's say grass or to trim the bushes and stuff, that it comes out of that bond. Or We just need to be more strict on the rental properties because there seems to be more and more.
Thank you. Ms. Oshansky?
Thank you for the question. I am not only a resident of Dearborn Heights, but I'm also a landlord in Dearborn Heights, so I feel very qualified to answer this specific question. In the past 4 years, there have been many changes made to the Dearborn Heights ordinances with regards to rental homes. For instance, in years past, you only had to get a certificate of occupancy when you changed residence. Now you have to get a new certificate of occupancy every 3 years as an owner. So as a landlord, I actually have to pay a fee every 3 years for an inspection. And surprisingly, for instance, I bought a rental home 4 years ago. It passed with flying colors. Somehow this year they found $900 worth of work. Fine, no problem, you do it. But I think that the bigger issue is that there are many rental homes that are not registered as rental homes. And for that, I would like it to see us improve the database between the assessor's office and ordinance.
Thank you. Mr. Wenzel?
I too was at one time a landlord, and it's a tough job because obviously you got to keep the property updated and looking good. And I found out that the best thing you could do is have the tenants have a voice, have the tenants get a hold of the city when there's an issue. Because the landlords aren't going to come up to the city and say, hey, my tenants have a problem, I need to fix it. It's up to the tenants themselves to come forward to the city and let them know that there's an issue with the property. So somehow we'll have to promote that either on the website or something. If you're a tenant, feel free to contact your city government with any issues, because there's so many houses out there. I was told one time how many rental houses are. It's unbelievable. It's mind-boggling how many houses in Dearborn Heights are for rent. So I think the tenants are the main answer to this question.
Thank you. Mr. Almuna?
I'm not just I'm a homeowner of the Dearborn Heights since 2010, and also I'm a realtor in the state of Michigan. I sell a lot of houses in Dearborn Heights, in Dearborn. And by law in the state of Michigan, there is contractors between the landlord and the tenants. There is rules or regulations involved in that contract. Everybody needs to be obey. Some people sign a contract and does not care about their lawns and their maintaining their property up to code. And then what are we facing now is we need to enforce, especially the tenants of Dearborn Heights, to do their job, to maintain their property accordingly. Rules of regulation needs to be furnished to all people in the residents of Dearborn Heights.
Thank you. Mr. Beydoun, a new question for you. Dearborn Heights has only half of the acreage of parks per person that Wayne County has. How would you enhance parks and green space in Dearborn Heights?
Well, that's a wonderful question. I think it's very important that we need to continue to rejuvenate our parks. I mean, we want to expand our parks because we know that we don't want any of our children or even, anybody that wants to go for a walk to be anywhere like on the major roads or anything of that nature. I believe meeting the needs of the community fairly, effectively, and consistently are some of the most important ways to address the problems our city is facing today.
Thank you. Mr. Bazzi?
Yes, ma'am. It's funny you asked that question. Just in the last couple of weeks, I talked to some folks on the south side near Van Born, or actually the Ecorse Creek, and they mentioned that there's no parks over there. And I talked to some other residents just off of Ford Road. They said the same thing. They don't want their kids running in the streets, and there's no parks for them to play in. And one of the things I do like to get our youth to engage with, volunteer services to they get a park, to maintain the parks, and also we do have. There's few parks. There's very limited parks in Dearborn Heights, and I know we definitely need some parks. And we can't remember the name of the park. And sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Constant?
Paula, thank you. Well, I think we need to keep up our existing parks, have equipment and programs in the parks for everyone, for our youths. We have a recreation center in the north end, a beautiful recreation center in the south end. Some of the homes that were built along Hanover by the Ecorse Creek are being torn down with grant money, and so that will expand the Heather Lane Park. But we are a bedroom community, and we don't have a lot of open space. Keeping Warren Valley as an open green space will help with our open space in our parks. But we're a developed community, and we're limited with what we have. So I think strong programs and good equipment in our existing parks is the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mallard?
I agree. I mean, I think everyone's saying it's important to have green space and parks in the city. So, again, going back to kind of we run off limited resources, so we have to take a look at, what we're spending on the Parks and Recreation budget, and are those dollars being spent as effectively as possible? So are there ways to, when you look at the existing park space, make upgrades or improvements, with the available funds? If not, then how can we create some different programs or initiatives to try to generate some incremental revenue to bring it into the city and use that towards, cleaning up our, or doing what we need to do to maintain our parks. Also, I think Bob made a good point around, where you can find empty space, is there empty space in the city that we can take from maybe tearing down homes or doing something different, but take that space and try to work out through grants or other programs to get some kind of new types of parks and spaces for the city. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, I think that our parks are important for the community. We need to maintain and improve them. It's a place where children can go and socialize with other children from the neighborhood, not necessarily someone they live next door to. I personally went to what was called Municipal Park as a child. It's now Van Houten, and I met a lot of people there that I would not have normally met had that park not been there, and it gave us a place to run and play. I've been told originally when Dearborn Heights did their plat plan years ago, they did smaller lots because they allowed that because of the parks was where the kids could go and run and play. And
Thank you, Ms. Oshansky. A new question. How do you view the current status of relations between the police and the community?
Wow.
Wow. Excellent question. At this point in time, I think that there is definitely a disconnect in the trust. I think because there have been some financial issues with the DROP program, I think that there have been some concerns with the passage of an ordinance that allowed the chief of police to stay on and be paid his pension as well as collect his full-time pay. And I believe that those are issues that unless you follow the council and its actions closely, you don't know about until after. And sometimes you don't get the full story, but it has created quite a bit of discontent within the community. Beyond that, I think that we are an aged community, and for the most part, I think that there's still a level of respect for police, fire, and first responders that is good, better than large cities.
Thank you. Mr. Wenzel?
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, I think most residents respect the police. I know I do, and I know a lot of the seniors, they really respect and rely on the police. And I've had a lifelong vision, and it's funny you should ask this question, and I don't know if it's possible or not, but I've always thought that it'd be really cool if one time during a shift for a month, one officer in a patrol car would stop in the middle of the block, get out and walk down one side of the block talking to the residents and the kids, go across the street, walk down the other side, real close to his squad car in case he has to go. Just get that one-on-one feeling like old-time walking the beat police had. And that's that's one of the things I've always wanted to do with the police. And the police are very important to us, as everyone knows. Without them, we'd be in big trouble. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Almuna?
From my understanding, there is some kind of a conflicts between our relationship between the resident of Dearborn Heights and the police, especially the chief of the executive of Dearborn Heights Police. What I heard from the residents, they have some issues by issuing tickets, people parking on the street, especially on the pickup garbage date. They are late. For example, today I just came to the to this meeting, and then they have not picked up my cans, and it's take too long for them to pick up their the cans. So people complaining about the tickets, and then I think one of those schools complain about the school rules in Dearborn Heights Academy, Star Academy School. They were complaining to me about the school relationship with them. I don't know what's going on with that.
Thank you very much. Mr. Apigian?
Are we talking about the police?
We're still talking about the police? Yes.
I must be living in a different world. I don't ever hear of anybody complaining about the police to me.
If you could talk really close to the mic.
Stranger, I'm a radio host. You're supposed to talk over the mic, not in it. But that's news to me. The problem with the police is, then I don't like, but there's nothing you could do about it. More than half of them don't live in Dearborn Heights. That to me is tragic. They're supposed to be protecting you, but they like to live someplace else. But that has to do with a state law that perhaps Bob can explain to the rest of us as a former state rep. The drop program, I wouldn't try to explain in a couple of minutes because they're smarter people than me, but essentially what it is for people of experience and leadership to be able to stay, receive their pension, receive their payment as their pay, in order to develop future people for leadership. It's not based for everybody.
Thank you very much.
Go on the program.
Mr. Bazzi, we'll start the next round with you and a new question. How would you foster community among the diverse, let me start over. How would you foster community among the diverse residents of Dearborn Heights?
Excuse me, you skipped Mr. Baydoun.
Well, you answered, you were the first one on the previous round.
I just really liked the question and I really wanted to respond, but we don't want to take up so much time. I'm sure there's other...
At the end, you can add your comments. Let me repeat that.
Thank you.
How would you foster community among the diverse residents of Dearborn Heights?
I definitely see a disconnect between different residents, and I think one of the biggest things is we do have to get the different residents to engage different groups, possibly just having various groups getting together. So the city throws different events, and I know a lot of residents have an issue. Everything's happening on the north side, but nothing happens on the south side. So that kind of causes disengagement. So I think what we need to do is have engage the whole community, the whole cities, have maybe have different events between, like say, the Canfield Center and maybe something on the south side, just to get both all the residents to engage and get to know one another. And they do actually. I think that's very effective. We've tried it before on various communities. Places I've served overseas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Constant.
Paul, thank you. That's a very good question. I think Dearborn Heights is becoming more diverse than it was. I think diversity is very important. Former Councilwoman, now Judge Margie Van Houten, started a diversity commission. We have a disability commission, several other commissions. I think our community service groups can do what they can to help the residents of diverse backgrounds meet each other and get to know each other. Not to fear each other and understand everybody's culture and background. Our schools and activities at our schools, which the City Council has nothing to do with, are also very important. But I think diversity is to be fostered and encouraged and strengthened in Dearborn Heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mallard.
Thank you. I think we should always be willing to work together, listen, and act upon, each other's ideas and opinions. I think diversity is very important, starting at the government level. I mean, when we take a look at our different departments, throughout the city. You know, do the people that work or are part of the government represent the community in which they serve? And so, where you can develop programs to, you know, increase diversity and inclusion within the city government, then that can trickle down into, I think, into the community. And then we need to engage our community to get a good understanding of, you know, what diversity means for us. So as communities change, we need to understand what that change is, and then bring others in to get a good understanding and come up with some different initiatives or programs where we can help really foster the idea of diversity, you know, throughout the city, through the residents, and through the government.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Maxwell.
Yes, I would encourage residents to meet each other and to have let me start over. I would encourage neighborhood groups where residents could meet each other and compare notes and find out what's happening in the different areas. And I think part of it is we need to encourage programs that mix the different groups together, starting at the senior center all the way down, and educate them on the different cultures so we can understand each other better.
Thank you. Ms. Oshansky?
Yes. I believe that we do need to bring people together. I myself grew up in a very small town of 3,000 people. And one of the issues that we have with our government right now in Dearborn Heights, I believe, is transparency. And I would like to bring that small town feel to the city of Dearborn Heights, because quite frankly, when you grow up in a small town and your neighbors are unhappy with something you do on council, they're going to track you down at that Kroger. They're going to track you down after church, and they're going to come knock on your porch. So you need to be open and transparent about why you vote the way you do, what information you have, why you are making the decisions you are, and the thought process that went into it. Additionally, I believe that, like with Gulfview Manor Civic Association, we have, thanks to Lisa Hicks Clayton, created a Teen Action Council, which goes into the community every spring and every fall and does yard cleanup for senior citizens and disabled. And that is a great way to bring all of the young people of Dearborn Heights together.
Thank you. Mr. Wenzel, a new question. What one talent do you bring to the council that will make the council complete?
Well, like I said in my opening statement, I'm a lifelong resident of Dearborn Heights. I've been involved in literally probably hundreds of activities in Dearborn Heights my whole life, from children to senior citizens. I see everything. I deliver Meals on Wheels. I'm in the sports programs. I'm highly involved in my church. I'm in the government. I'm a planning commissioner. I'm a Parks and Recreation commissioner. I'm a Demolition Board of Appeals commissioner. I'm very involved with all the ins and outs of the city in the back end, and where people don't notice what's going on. And I work with all the volunteers all the time, people behind the scenes that don't get any credit, and that's why it makes me valuable to be on city council.
Thank you. Mr. Almuna?
I believe it's very important for the city council to be close, especially to our youth around the city of Dearborn Heights. I believe there is a gap between the city council and then our young people. Our young people is our future, and we have to work on that, and then open a dialogue, maybe have more conference, maybe more festivals, maybe more meetings. They have a lot of issues and challenges, especially when it comes to dealing with drugs. And I'm a member of the Coalition of the Safe in the state of Michigan. What I'm hearing from our member in the coalition, they said it's about young people died, overdose every 12 minutes. So we need to focus on that. And I'm heard from the people around in the city of Dearborn Heights, there's a lot of young people buying and selling drugs around in the neighborhoods.
Thank you. Mr. Apigian?
Would you repeat the
Sure.
question?
What one talent do you bring to the council that will make the council complete?
As I've said in my opening statement, I am a professional. I am a licensed professional community planner in the state of Michigan. I am a licensed architect. I'm also a licensed residential builder. I bring the qualities of a planner, a designer, an architect, a builder, things that happen in a city have to do with streets, roads, parks, engineering issues that someone like me brings some insight to. That's the most important thing. I'm primarily interested in ordinances. In the area of ordinances, the council can bring ordinances and make suggestions. What most people don't understand here, you have to know our charter. 80% of the power here resides with the mayor. You have to decide where in that 20% you can influence the process. Talking about things you can't influence.
Thank you very much. Mr. Baidoon?
The one talent I think I can bring, I don't know if it's a talent, but I think it's more of an affection, and this is honestly who I am. I just love everybody. So whether if you're from the South, if you're from the North, if you're from the West, or you're from the East, I believe bringing everybody together, I think that's what it is, and you do that with optimism. And realistically, I don't see a difference between somebody on the South or somebody in the North. The only thing that I do see is that some areas aren't receiving the same type of maintenance and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I bring bold ideas. I'm passionate. I want to bring one community, a Dearborn Heights community. I want us to be together. So what could I bring? The one thing that I can bring, I want to show you that we can all work together, and I want to bring us all together so we can be one Dearborn Heights. So we can have a one Dearborn Heights Facebook page. We can have a one Dearborn Heights community. We can stand together, united in solidarity. That's what I would hope to bring, and that's what I believe I could bring.
Thank you. So that we have enough time for our 2-minute closing statements, we don't have quite enough time to start a whole new set of questions, but I am going to ask this one question, and we're looking for just a yes or no answer. We'll start with Mr. Constant. Do you support or oppose the medical marijuana ordinance being proposed?
Being proposed, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Mallard?
Yes.
Ms. Maxwell?
Again?
Do you support or oppose I guess it's more than a yes or no, it's support or oppose. Do you support or oppose the medical marijuana ordinance being proposed?
Yes.
Ms. Oshansky?
No.
Mr. Wenzel?
The one that is being proposed, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Almuna?
No.
Mr. Apigian?
I don't know what's being proposed, but it sounds like most of the people have already studied it and have discussed it in council meetings. It sounds like it's a compromise.
Mr. Baidoon?
Too big of a liability for the city.
Yes, I support.
Mr. Bazzi?
I oppose it.
Okay. We're going to start our 2-minute closing statements now, and we're going to start at the opposite end. So, Mr. Wenzel, if you could start with your 2-minute closing statement.
Okay. Well, everyone wants to know how I stand on the issues. And it's hard for me to say because I don't know all the facts of all the issues. Believe me, when elected, I will evaluate all the information available, and I will make the best decision for the well-being of the residents of Dearborn Heights. If you haven't already, please pick up my information packet outside the doors there, and you'll find out what I'm really all about. It's very, you'll enjoy reading it. And I was asked today, when I came in here, I was asked why I don't wear a suit to these events. And it's no disrespect, believe me. It's not who I am. I'm an average citizen just like you. And that's just what you'll get if you pick up a pencil and vote for Wenzel.
Thank you. Ms. Oshansky?
Yes. Well, first, again, I would like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum this evening. Again, my platform is financial responsibility, transparency in government, and to bring civility and professionalism back to the table. When we talk about what is the one thing that you bring to the table that someone else does not, and that is 20 years of management experience, which allows me to find the best in any coworker and work with that. I mean, I think it's fair to say we've all worked with people we wouldn't invite into our home for dinner. But when you walk into that conference room and sit down at that table, you have to recognize that they are there for a reason also. Someone saw value in their skill set, and you need to work with that skill set and bring it to the best of the community or to the corporation's benefit. I also believe that I would like to say something about the medical marijuana proposal. I oppose it because I do not like the way that it has been proposed. We are dealing with only one of the 5 different issues with medical marijuana. I think that calling the dispensary proposal is misleading. We are talking only about growing operations. And the reason that I did not like the proposal is because it does create some liability on the part of the city. And we have to be aware of that. You have to look at any business case and say, I can afford to buy it, can I afford to operate it? And that is going to require a great deal more discussion and legal debate. So I actually was at the study session last night, and that is the reason that I oppose it, not because I'm taking a position on whether medical marijuana is right or wrong. That having been said, I would ask that you allow me to earn your vote over the coming weeks and months, and please don't forget to get out on August 8th.
Thank you. Ms. Maxwell, your closing statement?
Yes, I'd like to take the time to thank the League of Women Voters, which I've been a member and a supporter of for many years. Also, I'd like to thank the residents for attending and those at home watching this on TV. My main concerns are to improve our roads by better utilizing the limited funds more efficiently and to also check for grants that may help us. I also ask that we enforce codes equally across the board. I also would support a contract that would include City Hall being open 5 days a week for the residents. I have the time and energy to serve you. I know what is best for the city of Dearborn Heights, and I know I can make it better.
Thank you. Mr. Mallard.
Thank you. And I would also like to thank the League of Women Voters for inviting us here tonight. I think this is a great opportunity to get out and be able to answer some questions. I'd like to qualify my answer as well on the medical marijuana. When I say yes in that we have to take action. I was here also listening to the study session. So yes means we need to do something, whether it means the ordinance as is or changing an ordinance, but we have to, have the leadership to make a decision and decide what we're going to do with it. So I support taking action, and without really being on the council or knowing a lot of the details behind it, besides sitting through a few of the meetings, at my end, I would need to get a better understanding of what exactly it will mean, what will be the benefits, but in the end, we need to do what's in the best interest of the city and our residents. So my campaign message is simple. My top priorities are going to be fiscal responsibility and transparency, protecting our neighborhoods, providing quality services for our residents. I think increasing economic development and growth is very important, but most importantly, I can promise you I'll work hard to represent and serve you, the residents of Dearborn Heights. My campaign is based off of, 3 pillars: leadership, hard work, and integrity. I promise to bring some solid leadership to the council. I'll work hard, as I said, to be an effective member of elective government. And then I think, everything that I do, I will do with the utmost integrity as a foundation of any action or decision I make on the council. So once again, thank you. I hope to see everybody at the polls on August 8th, and I as well, I hope to earn your trust, your support, and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Constant.
Paula, thank you. I too would like to thank the League of Women Voters for scheduling this candidate forum and for all the League does to help voters be informed. Regarding the medical marijuana ordinance, there really is not an ordinance being proposed yet. The council asked for a draft of an ordinance, and to explain my view in a sentence, I'm for as limited or little or no medical marijuana dispensaries within the city. I think they've become a problem for other cities. I think it's a new type of use. I think the decision or whether or not medical marijuana should be legal is decided at the state level and not decided by the city. I have over 12 years experience both as a city councilman and as a state representative balancing budgets. I believe my background in business and in state and local politics gives me the knowledge and experience necessary to make the reforms that are needed now in the city of Dearborn Heights. I have both a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan and a Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Detroit Mercy School of Law. I'm a licensed attorney and I own a law practice in the city of Dearborn Heights. I'm running for re-election to continue to serve the residents of Dearborn Heights, to continue to work to police the budget and enact reforms and legislation that is desperately needed during these tough economic times for an older suburban community like Dearborn Heights. So I ask everyone to remember to vote in the primary election on August 8th, and to please vote for Bob Constant and to keep Bob Constant constantly working for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bazey.
Again, thanks to the League of Women Voters and also all the residents in Dearborn Heights. After hearing and seeing your reactions, it's quite evident that the residents of Dearborn Heights are concerned. Your concerns are also my concerns. Listening to your concerns, I will work with to both establish and implement effective measures to address all matters and resolve all issues using my analytical military, my corporate leadership experience. With your support, I will work to revitalize our city, enforce safety measures to protect all our residents and our neighborhoods, engage our youth and senior citizens. I will work to improve accountability and transparency of our city operations and bring leaderships which we lack. Bring customer service also to the City Hall. Service our residents with respect, dignity, and honor. I remember that conversation I had just a couple of weeks ago with a psychologist who lives in Dearborn Heights on the south side of it. He created a mental program for troubled youth in Southeast Michigan. He told me, Bill, he goes, I want to work with you to help our youth to become a lifetime learners, accepting the merits, hard work, and discipline. He gives me hope. A small business owner off Telegraph who works hard, provides quality services to our residents, overcoming the hardship of the economy that comes their way. She gives me hope. A Marine with PTSD who I mentored for years, sent me a note last month explaining how proud he was of me running for city council and how he would still been in a dark spot in his life without me mentoring him. And the reason why I opposed the marijuana is because there's not enough study, and I've done.
Thank you, Mr. Bazey. Mr. Baydoun?
Well, I want to thank you, Paula, for giving us your time today, and I want to also thank all the residents as well for coming out here, and to all the viewers at home. But I also want to congratulate all the candidates today, to all 11 of them, and I'm wishing them all the best of luck. I just want to respond back to the the law enforcement, because I have a lot of law enforcement in my family, so I wasn't able to answer that question, and that's not Paula's fault. I really want to speak on that. A lot of my family members are involved in the law enforcement. I'm also a volunteer Wayne County Sheriff Reserve, so I understand that the responsibility of making sure that we have good relationships with our police department is essential and imperative. So to the question, I support our police department. I think our police department is doing a phenomenal job, and you have to also understand, as our first responders, I mean, we do have many senior citizens that are relying on our first responders. So when a lot of the questions are saying, well, we don't see the officers in our neighborhoods, I mean, we don't know what they're dealing with. They could be out there and going on to a response time. But to understand that, to assume that they're doing nothing, it's just out of the question. I think our police department is doing a phenomenal job, and being as a Wayne County Sheriff Reserve, you come to realize what we deal with, or what these officers are dealing with on a day-to-day basis every single day. So I want to first start by saying I want to congratulate the police officers and thank them as well as our fire department. With my closing remarks, come August 8th, you have a choice, and I hope that you can think of Mo Baydoun and you can vote for me. Go with Mo. Come August 8th. And I hope, consequently, in the future and come November, you can also go with Mo. And I look to serve and by building more transparency for our residents, allowing our residents to see who we are, because we're one community. And realistically, every voter and anybody that's out there, whether you vote for me or not, I still love you, and I still will always be there for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Apigian.
Well, in previous occasions, I didn't thank you, so I thank you profusely for allowing us to participate in this forum. First thing I'd like to say is, for me, the major issue is to return to a 5-day work week, as obviously by this time our deficit with the state must have come to an end prior to our fiscal year ending on June 30th, if not this year, last year. Since home sales have not only skyrocketed, prices have ballooned upward, which means our property tax income is due to be greatly increased. My own home in the last 5 years, I'm told, has doubled in value. Not that I'm looking to sell or go anywhere. I've been 46 years in the same house, and I like my cap taxes. The second most important issue is, with all this money that's coming to us with the increase in everybody buying homes here, is 100% staffing of the police department and the fire department. I can easily remember we were 2 people short, 3 people short. That short should disappear. Our primary responsibility is public safety. Our primary responsibility is not parks. Although Dearborn Heights may not be in its city limit, we're awash in public park space. If you ever look at a map between the Rouge Park and Hines Drive, and I'd like to leave you with one thought. We all have a background and experience. It's for you to decide which background and whose experience makes more sense than others. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Almuna.
Again, I would like to say thank you for the Women of Legal Voters for this opportunity to be here. And then I would like to say some about myself. I'm a family person. I got a beautiful wife, and I got 3 gorgeous boys. I served the public for 12 years as a realtor in the city of Michigan. I'm a member of GMAR, which is Greater Metropolitan of Association of Realtors. A member of Coalition of Safe, which is the coalition to protect our youth from using drugs and alcoholics and so I'm running for the City Council of Dearborn Heights. I believe I can do better for the City of Dearborn Heights, and I believe people need to be treated the way you like to be treated. I would treat the people of Dearborn Heights with integrity, responsibility, purposivity. I look forward to see you on August 1st. For the best of Dearborn Heights, the people of Dearborn Heights, and the community. And thank you for your participation, thank you for your efforts, and thank you all.
Thank you. The polls will be open on August 8th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Absentee ballots are available at the city clerk's office. We urge you not to forget to vote, and remember that primary elections are important. They're your first choice when choosing your council people in November. Candidates, we certainly appreciate your commitment, the commitment it takes to run for office, and we would like to thank you and also the audience for the very good questions. We are going to take a short 5-minute break before we start our mayoral forum, but I wanted to pass along a note here that the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for our area. The storm is expected to reach the Dearborn Heights area about 8 o'clock. Storm is expected to bring heavy rain, lightning, and wind gusts of approximately 60 miles an hour. I think this means you should all stay here for the mayoral forum. Thank you very much.
That's right.